All right, gamers. Is this the first time ever? Is this the first time ever in the history of the RGH podcast that potentially we went and did the entire intro without one mess up? One mess up. It feels like it. It feels like it. It feels like it. We might have got the entire loading screen into the intro without a hitch, and that is incredible to me.
Yeah. You know how that basic thing that every streamer and every podcast does? We finally did it right.
Bro, there's so many buttons. I can't handle it.
Till episode 23.
Okay, so one quick thing. You guys are recording your audio, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
We remember it.
Okay, just make sure. Just make sure.
Again, this is a top quality production podcast here. Only the best here.
Fix the video. Wait, what? Is something wrong with video?
The video looks fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, just make sure. Good. Audio looks great as well. Today, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things in gaming, but there is some pretty big Destiny news, and we want to make sure we jump on that. But Gearbox was sold. Massive, like billion-dollar deal. Stadia, rest in peace, ? Also,
Yeah.
Nintendo finally getting some online play ? Because it's been trash for 18 years. And then Twitch getting worse yet again. We're gonna start from the top with the Destiny 2 stuff. So it is the brand new season was revealed yesterday morning.
Yes.
Yesterday morning.
Well,
7 a.m. in the morning.
if we're
Can
counting-
Bungie stop doing that, dude? Like,
hey man, no, that's perfect for me, man. That's perfect
for you.
for me.
It's good for you. Okay, that's
I'm
all that
East
matters,
Coast,
then. No, it's
baby.
fine then.
Well, and it was technically, I mean, if we're counting leaks, then we knew about it the night before.
Oh my gosh,
too.
Game Informer is always one of these like massive like brands.
Oopsies.
Yeah, it's always one of these massive. And PlayStation did that too. Where remember they tweet out something for the Hawk Moon that they shouldn't have yet.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
And it's like, and you can like, it's like obviously Bungie just comes to them and says, "Hey, we have here's a little trailer for you." And
and here's the info you need.
and
for
here's the info.
it.
But it's like, who are these idiot interns at Game Informer that are like, just put it out? It's like someone isn't going to do his due diligence and tech it. Wait, it's like, when's that supposed to go live? Or like, it's like they don't even care. Like they just, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's that keeps happening with these like big box retailers. And it's like, can't they just like, you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
can't they just pay a little bit more attention?
Right.
Because it's happened quite a bit.
mm-hmm.
They like
Not just with Destiny.
oh,
Not
dude,
just with individual content creators. Now the big people are doing it too.
and it's
Yeah.
always bad too. It's just like the biggest leaks. It's like, oh, by the way, Cade's dead, and it's like, bro, like what?
Exactly.
What the
Exactly.
hell? You know,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, oh, by the way, Oryx was Zavala all
exactly.
along, bro.
Yeah, exactly. It's something weird. All right.
Always has been.
But yeah, it was revealed yesterday. They released a trailer and then they updated like kind of the website and showcased a bunch of the content coming. And there's a lot to talk about. A lot of people are happy about it. A lot of people not. Like, it's kind of funny how it's kind of a meme now. Like every season is like, will this make or break Destiny? This is the last
the
season.
make or break mode. It's the last
It
chance.
all rides on this, but it's been all riding on this for like 2 years or like 7 years now, basically, or however since Destiny 1 came out. Like, I swear.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, like, things will keep trucking, but overall, I'm just gonna give my perspective quickly. As a PvE player, I think this season looks pretty darn sweet. The good parts are a lot of new weapons to chase. Like we got like kind of a Cabal set, but we also know that we're getting a bunch of reissued weapons. Like that's kind of annoying, but it is going to be more stuff to grind. And they have exclusive roles for the dungeons, which is cool. And
The reissued stuff, I will say real quick, I don't want to cut you off, but just real quick, I'm okay with it when it's like year one stuff that was static rolls and stuff like that we never really got to farm any random
Not
rolls on
moon stuff.
anyways.
Right.
Yeah. But that's coming back. We got some new trials weapons as well. And there's something else like I'm kind of forget. Oh, there's the reprised weapons as like strike weapons, like the Shadow Price, the Palindrome is back, right? And the Swarm, and then you can get the Adept versions for doing the Grandmaster Nightfalls. So a lot of good stuff there in terms of like just stuff to earn. I think Bungie, it says on the website, there's like 30 plus guns to earn this season, including like new stuff and reprise stuff. And that's like good news, right? That is definitely good news.
And the Cosmodrome looks like it's going to actually matter. You know, it's not just patrol space or someplace where you go for the reprised Omnigul Strike. But now we got like the Devil's Lair. You've got the Saber Strike reprised versions coming in, which obviously I'm assuming are going to be part of our Nightfall farming process. But even as a PvP guy, I mean, Bungie's good at making trailers. They really are. Yeah. That trailer was pretty exciting. It's exciting to watch. We got Crow is next to Zavala at an important meeting, and he's got a glow up. You know, and everyone's like, well, what's going on there? How does he go from like outcast?
Dude, he got the drip, bro. My boy's got that
he goes from
armor,
an outcast to the guy that Zavala chooses to come with him to meet, you know, Kaido.
Interestingly, though, also importantly, Umbral engrams are coming back as well. That was like a hugely positive thing. The community would love that. So you can target. So, you know, if you want to farm a specific thing, so the Umbral engrams could include the Dreaming City weapon. So if you want to farm the new Waking Vigil, hopefully you can actually go and target farm it. And that's like a trend that we are seeing with the new stuff, and that's very positive. The bad news, though, in my opinion, is like I'm not so sure about this new activity. What's it called? Battlegrounds or something?
Battlegrounds.
It seems it's like a 3-player matchmade activity. It seems very similar to something like a Nightmare Hunt or a hunt, where it's like it's kind of like a strike, but somehow it's not a strike.
But it's not.
It's just like a separate mission. It's gonna have its own like process to like level up and stuff. It's kind of Sundial-ish, but not 6 players, unfortunately. And I'm sure it's gonna have like farmable loot and stuff. That all seems cool. But it's like, I'd rather have a 6-player matchmade activity 100%. And on the PvP, this is where I'm going to throw it over. On the PvP side, there is, aside from new trials loot, which is cool.
It's crickets.
There's, aside from that one specific area, there is really nothing added for PvP.
We took away another 14 maps, so now there's 3 of them. There's
exactly.
I as a guy whose content really does ride on Destiny PvP, Destiny PvP. I mean, there's nothing I'm excited about on that front. I am a Destiny gamer and I love Destiny, so the PvE stuff does excite me. Like I said, the trailer got me excited. Seeing some of the new gear, even the Trials hand cannon that they showed in the trailer, you could see like as he's looking down the sights, the optics, it's the eye of Osiris, right? In the sight. I mean, that's a really
trailer breakdown. I know. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you did. But
yeah, no.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to that part of it. I only watched the first 18 minutes of your breakdown. But
well, if you would have got to the 19th minute of my breakdown, you'd also know that the messenger appears to be back.
Oh, what?
The messenger pulse rifle.
Another pulse rifle that's average?
Oh, that thing
the messenger was not average. Take that back. The messenger was dope.
Yes, it won every sweaty tournament. It won every match in Crucible. Like totally, dude.
At the end of the day, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I mean, the PvP community they're hemorrhaging players in a real way. And so it's really frustrating, as a PvP player, just to feel like all of the feedback you've been giving for the past now like a year has really done nothing. It really has just.
Before we talk, I'm going to cut you off because you cut me off last time. I'm going to cut you off.
Go for it.
Before we kind of talk about that, I kind of want to say, Tash, I assume you kind of saw you saw the trailer. Hopefully, you saw you kind of know a little bit about season 13. Are you like even?
I'm coming back, baby. I'm coming back. No, I have zero.
No.
I have zero plans to play it at the moment. I mean, like if people are like, "Yo, Battlegrounds is really cool," the core issues of the game with like the power level system and how boring a lot of the gear is, it's not gonna fix it. And like a new seasonal activity is not gonna fix it for me. Vault of Glass. I mean, I'm excited. They haven't really said anything about Vault. I thought that was gonna be this season, but
no, that's either season 14. TBD.
I think
that would be officially announced.
That would be like the first time I would consider coming back. Would be for a new raid. But I just don't really care about a new seasonal activity that's gonna go away. And
no, I don't think it is this year. Similar to the hunts, remember the Wraithborn hunts?
Yeah.
And that's not going away. You can still do Wraithborn hunts all year long. They're getting rid of the FOMO system. So stuff they add will be there.
Oh, good.
So it won't just disappear, which is good. Yeah.
Right. Damn. Okay. Well, that's pretty sweet. I don't know. Like, obviously, like there's some new guns that are coming back and stuff. But for me, again, one pulse rifle feels the same as the next pulse rifle, as the next,
Yeah.
and a handgun. I don't give a shit. I just don't care. Like, you can bring the messenger back all you want, but like, is it going to be better than my cold denial? Is it going to be? Do I care?
Yeah.
And
No, I
just don't know.
agree.
Not
Because
at
I
this
think
point.
you're sorry, like I think your perspective is basically, wouldn't you say that it's one of those things where they're adding a bunch of new guns, which is cool, but they can add all the guns they want. If PvP is a mode where guns almost don't matter and ability usage has spiked through the roof, it's like, okay, they add the messenger back. Maybe it is marginally the best new pulse rifle in the game, but still, most of the gunfights are going to be determined as to who gets the shower dive off first. So it's like, it almost doesn't matter.
Right. It's like the stats on your gun aren't going to impact who's going to win the game. It's who's getting the most chain freezes and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
think
Like,
Here-
Trials
here's
is like the only thing that's happening, and I feel like Trials is one of the worst places for stasis too. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's
Oh,
no
yeah,
new game
absolutely.
mode. There's no new game mode spicing things up. There's nothing bringing me back there. Most of my, I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Like the PvP player base is like the worst has been. What did you say? 2018.
2018.
2018.
It's the worst it's been since 2018.
That is Curse of Osiris. That's Curse of Osiris came out.
Yeah.
I think like just before and into 2018.
So it's like even if I wanted to make videos, the audience that used to watch me, they don't even play the damn game anymore. Like,
Well, there's nothing.
I
There's a
don't know.
problem. There's nothing new to do in PvP. Are you going to plan a new map? Are you hoping for a new map? No. Are you grinding for any new weapons? No. Are you grinding for any new armor sets? No, because your chances of getting a good roll on the Cinder Pinion is slim to none. And if you're going to get a good roll, it's just going to be the one that Shaq sells anyway. So you're not really actively trying to play that.
I think they are adding 2 new weapons to all
Yeah.
of the rituals. So they're adding 2 new Crucible weapons to get. They're adding 2 new Gambit weapons and 2 new, maybe the strike weapons. I don't know, it might be different because of the. But I think they're adding 2 new Crucible weapons that are just randomly dropping the loot pool.
What I would love to see is a full
But, like, that's not enough.
vendor set. Yeah, that's right. I mean, for example, well, I got the new beloved, the adored, right? I got that with the first day,
Right.
and then it was done. You know what I mean? So it's like, so they put 2 guns in. I'm gonna get a good roll within my first couple of play sessions. Am I gonna go continue to grind? Probably not. But here's the thing: looking at Steam charts, every new player they picked up in PvP when the new content came out, when Beyond Light dropped, every time there's new content, right, you see this big boost. Okay, so the numbers go up, and they're up here that first month the content's out, and then it starts to taper off. Well, here's the thing: that big boost, they almost lost all of that big boost in the next month.
Yeah.
In December, it was back down to where it was before. It was barely above where it was the last season, a month after the new content, and since then it's continued to go down. So it's even down further than it was before the new content.
Yeah.
came out.
So you're saying not Shadowkeep, Beyond Light comes up. So the Destiny's here. A
Mhm.
massive fall expansion comes and the player base skyrockets,
Yes.
and PvP is so bad that it's actually below where they started, and there's
Correct.
less PvP players playing than even before Beyond Light came out.
Yeah.
Correct.
So by those numbers, it is undeniable that PvP is in a bad place and that stasis absolutely needs to be adjusted. And if you're someone who is defending stasis, you are actively killing the game right now. And it is statistically what we know. This is a statistical fact that stasis has caused the player base to absolutely decline in ways we've almost never seen before. So please take your ego and take your opinion out of the equation. Realize what's best for the game. Not everything that's best for the game I like, right? Maybe I would have wanted, certain things or not like certain things, but I know that as a whole, more people like that thing. So that's what's healthier for the game going forward. So, and I think people need to just come to the realization and say, you know what? Maybe I like stasis, maybe I like spamming abilities, but the player base is suffering.
Right.
And it's like, again, how much of an ego do you need to have to say like, oh, I'll kill Destiny 2 before I give up my like Crucible KD because of stasis? Like, bro, come on, dude.
The thing though is like, if you look at the player base on Steam charts, I know that part of that could be that they're on console. Like, even if you look at like the Charlemagne bot that shows the population, like it's not great.
Well.
It's really not doing great.
No.
But the thing is like, how many people did go to console instead of Steam? Like, I don't know what that number is, but like we were looking at like 60, 70,000 people at any one moment in time, even in the summer. Like, once everyone had already beaten Season of Arrivals, like once they were like tapped out, we were still getting like way more viewers, or not viewers, players playing the game. And like, if you look at the hype Shadowkeep had, and if you look at even like the people showing up for like special events when they did the Almighty, like there was a ton of people really hyped. Glad messaged, and when they had that secret mission come out, he's like, damn, this is the first time a secret mission or like a new mission is dropped, and I wasn't there when it launched. And so if one of your biggest Destiny content creators is like complacent about new content coming out, that's not a good sign. You're seeing tons of different content creators that are not playing the game. And so, like, again, we said it the other day with Grenader Jake. If the people that are getting paid to play through subs and views and all these different things can't bring themselves to play, the average person,
not good.
The average person is not going to play. If you can make $1,000 streaming Trials in the weekend and you're snapping your keyboard, bro, you're not playing Trials, right? Yeah. You're not playing Trials to go get a scout rifle. Like, I'm telling you, it is not happening. So I think there's a lot of issues there where it's just like,
but also sunsetting has been done so poorly. I had someone in the chat say, you support sunsetting. I should say, I had some dingus in the chat say that, and someone's like, you called a fan a dingus? I'll call a dingus a dingus. When I see a dingus, I'll call him a dingus. Like, what do you, dude? Anyways, like, look, sunsetting, overall, theoretically, it does make sense. And this comes, anyone who plays like something like Magic the Gathering, where they have like a standard set and things rotate in and come out, you understand that like the concept of it, because otherwise you would just have mountaintops and you'd have mountaintop 2 and it shot 2 mountaintop rockets, right? And then you'd have mountaintop 3 and it was tracking, right? Like they would just keep having to up themselves to have new things. So the idea of like having things fall off and interesting things come in theoretically makes sense. But as clearly, as we've seen, like, even though that theoretically makes sense, in practice, it has been a disaster because we lost this super amazing stuff. We lost 21% delirium. We lost, even stuff like the loaded question, mountaintop, recluse. These are such fun weapons, and we got nothing even remotely comparable. The one thing is the raid loot this season and the whole reconstruction thing, doubling your magazine size, fantastic. Legitimately the best raid loot we've ever had. I think a lot of people forget that in the sunsetting thing. Like, maybe this raid loot wouldn't have been as powerful, right? The fact that you can get a sniper with 10 rounds of magazine and Vorpal, maybe we would have never gone that without sunsetting. But it's like, it's still not that recluse mountaintop level. And I think that's what people are really expecting. And then here's the problem. Here's the biggest problem with sunsetting right now. But Bungo, if you're gonna let stuff like, the biggest problem right here with sunsetting is swords. And the reason being is because the Fallen Guillotine, you could argue that like something like the Fallen Guillotine is recluse level powerful. It crapped on everything. It was so fun. Everyone loved the Fallen Guillotine. Bungie nerfed it specifically, and they're nerfing swords again by 15%. So it's like, Bungie, I thought the point of sunsetting was to let stuff be powerful, and then the Fallen Guillotine just naturally falls off in a year from now before the Witch Queen comes out.
Right.
So it's like, if it's not allowed to. They still nerf it. So it's like, what's the point then? If you're still going to nerf it, isn't the whole point that you don't have to nerf stuff like that people are enjoying? So that's, I think, where they're handling sunsetting about as poorly as they could possibly handle it.
And like, what is their obsession with balancing PvE more than PvP? Like, do you gotta nerf the sword? Like, is that
I
actually
know.
a priority for you, Bungie? Like, are you getting so tilted that I'm taking out your shittily made champions that are teleporting around the map with my falling guillotine?
They-
like,
They're
really?
more upset about champions dying quickly than their player base dying quickly.
It is.
I know those things aren't directly related, but perception is reality. Perception is reality for gamers, and when it's like it looks like the studio is more interested in killing your fun than they are in fixing the things that they're actively giving feedback on. It's a feels bad experience for gamers,
Right.
and I can speak as a PvP player. The problem is that right now, Destiny is just not seeing any progress in the PvP department. In fact,
Yeah.
continuing to lose things like maps and whatnot. But they are actively competing with other games. You've got Apex Legends that just released a brand new season with a brand new gun and some brand new hop-ups and a brand new character and a completely overhauled map that was like super nostalgic. It's the original map that they blew it up, they added to it, they put some really cool stuff in it, new mechanics. It's just new. And that's really tempting. Also, you've got Valorant for people who like more strategic arena style shooters, and they're like, hey, guess what? New character to play. They're consistently changing that game, developing the game, adding new stuff, skins and whatnot, abilities for players to experiment with. They are actively competing with some companies out there that are very much prioritizing their PvP experience and trying to optimize it and tempt players to come and hop into that experience. And when Destiny doesn't have a carrot to dingle,
dangle, buddy.
Players are like, oh, okay. They're gonna go somewhere else. It's just the way that it goes. And I think that's why you see the hemorrhaging.
That is such a good point. It's like, oh man, you nailed it. It's like, why would I play Destiny 2 when I'm not enjoying Stasis, right? When I could go play Apex Legends, which is at its like best state ever. It's like there's so many good options to play right now. Like, and a lot of free to play solid Warzone's kind of got a cheating problem, but Warzone's popping, still like super popular.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Destiny thankfully is free to play too. But yeah, like there's a lot of great AAA free to play games.
I have, and it poses an interesting thing.
Like Genshin Impact.
When is everyone going to play Genshin? No. The thing is every time we've tried to make like even just like a video on something a little different, everyone's like, go back to Destiny, and like this is a Destiny channel, like you have to play Destiny. Everyone is so hyper like focused on Destiny. And you post a video on the Division and it's like, did you quit? Like, why did you quit? Why aren't you playing it? You post a video on Outriders or Anthem and they're like, this is terrible, this is not Destiny, this game is trash. I'm wondering if with this kind of exodus of players, now they're going to finally try these other games. They're actually going to try Outriders and give it a chance instead of just flat out hating it before they've even played it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Competition in the market is a good thing, and maybe it's time for a big competitor to come out and take Bungie on. I don't know if it will happen. It's hard to compete. It's really hard to compete with their mechanics, their raids. Like, Bungie makes some really great content, but like,
they can only ride that for so long.
Exactly.
Without continuing to deliver on the precedent of their content. You know what I mean?
One of the scariest things is like people always had in the back of their mind, they're like, well, I can quit Destiny and I can always come back, right? I can always come back. But now with sunsetting, you're going to come back and all your stuff's going to be useless.
They're like,
right?
I'm weak.
Dude, except for exotics, right? Like before, you came back, you grinded the game, you came back and you had like a god roll mindbenders. You came back like a year later, your god roll mindbenders was still popping. You know what I mean? Now, not so much. So that could be like a dangerous thing, is like people are like, well, I don't want to come back because all my stuff's useless.
But I mean, it's only lasting for a while anyways, and like with the power level system, like even if you are maxed out, if you come back, it isn't that hard to catch up. And the other thing too is if you're not doing the raid on like the first day, it doesn't matter what your power level is. There's no challenge in this game. No. Like, I mean, I guess getting ready for Nightfalls like definitely is, but like literally after a week or two, you're maxed out, can beat everything in the game. And I think that's a problem, is I know I'm like a very vocal minority about it. Like, I despise the light level system or the power system. It is so boring to me. It is like awful. I'm not going to rant about it again because I've talked about it so many times. But my worry and my issue is like, cool, new season, that's awesome. But at this point, I'm so frustrated and bored with the core systems of Destiny that Battlegrounds isn't enough. Like they literally would need the innovation of a Destiny 3 to interest me at this point. And it's not going to happen. They're not going to make a Destiny 3 anytime soon. But I don't think they're going to innovate hard enough in Destiny 2. So I think I'm just like, out. I don't know what they would do. They're not going to change the power level system. They're not going to like reinvent the wheel with loot and armor. And then,
of course, yeah,
they already did Armor 2.0 and mods 2.0. Like, are they doing 3.0, bro? No, they're not. There's no way.
I feel like the cool thing is they could have like for Armor 2.0, they could have new and interesting armor mods that you could really kind of customize and make some builds and stuff. Maybe like a weapons 2.0 with like more customization there. Like or like a system like almost like the Division where you could like go and like replace certain perks and stuff, right? To actually help with farming.
Like the recalibration station
Yeah,
thing?
like a recalibration type of system. Maybe even throw in a little bit of like random stats, maybe or something like that. Add an extra column. I've always advocated for a whole nother perk column of the ammo types, like steady rounds, ricochet rounds, rebalance them, put them all in their own thing and have them spawn randomly. So I think there is innovation they can do. There is things they can do the course to upgrade the core system. But the problem is that they're right now, I think they're throwing rewards at the screen because they didn't have enough rewards. So it does make sense that they're fixing that. But the elephant in the room is that stasis is so ridiculously unbalanced that it's making PvP unfun for a huge majority of people. And it's like they have to take a huge pass at that. Like I'm talking completely removing abilities and adding new ones and stuff like they have to a complete remake of that.
That's the thing that is really just the crux of it right now for PvP players. It's like we understand that this is your baby. We understand that man, there was so much time and capital, manpower, and resources went into creating, theorizing what it looked like, developing it, and then shipping it, and being really proud of that product. I fully understand that, but I think the biggest thing Bungie could do is to take the L and just be like, oh man, hey, we love stasis. You guys do not. And so we are actively going to try and prioritize figuring out either how do we make it work or how do we disable it and compensate players who
maybe
who really
even like
paid for it,
or even just like disabled just in trials.
Yeah.
Right. Or there's certain abilities disabled just in trials. Like it's just until they can wrap their heads around it. Right. And again, if you're someone who doesn't agree with that, again, the game, we have less players now than before Beyond Light. It has been an utter disaster. These numbers, like these don't make sense. Like,
it's like having a bullet hole. It's like having a bullet hole, a bullet wound that's like actively bleeding. And you're like, no, don't patch that thing up. It looks cool. I like how that looks. Don't touch that.
You know what? The crazy thing, and like this is the mind-boggling thing, is when Mountaintop and Recluse was at its peak, I was like, I hate this. Like, I literally want to quit because of this. I would rather play in that meta than this one. That's how bad it is. Like, I'm fantasizing of like the good old days when Recluse was killing me in 0.4 seconds. Why? How is that even possible that I'm looking back at that as like, damn, it was better then? That is not healthy. But
so as a whole, Season 13 is legitimately doing a lot of good things. Like if you are playing, there's so many people who don't watch this podcast, who don't watch our content, who don't watch anything. They just play Destiny 2 for fun, super casually, and they're probably going to love Season 13. Tons of new weapons, new activity. It looks cool, right? It's all
great armor. The armor looks different,
right? Yeah, there's like literally all when you're in all those areas, there's all these Cabal ships everywhere. Like the armor looks wild, dude. Like all the reactions and memes from the armor, that's good. Like if you get no one caring about the armor, the fact that so many people are memeing and make like this is good. It's getting the reaction they want. So a lot of good things, but like for a lot of disenfranchised players, like unfortunately, it's just not the thing to like save Destiny, right? Yeah. Unfortunately. But I think we finally got to move on.
Yeah, 30 minutes of Destiny talk.
I mean, it was big news though. Like it is a new season, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that do enjoy it. But Like, obviously, they've got
Everyone's
some...
memeing on the armor. I actually think it looks kind of cool.
I actually like it.
I've been afraid to
I
say
actually
something,
like the
but I'm
armor.
like,
I don't
like
mind
it.
it wild and crazy. If you don't like wild and
Yeah.
crazy, use the base level boring gear that comes with the season's pass. You boring person. No, but
I mean,
dude,
the Trials one
think-
looks good, though. The Trials stuff looks really good.
I just think the armor, it looks wild and crazy, and it looks maybe bad with itself, but it's like if you can like just take the helmet or like just take the chest piece or just take the
pauldrons, yeah.
shoulders and combine it, mix and match with all this other armor, I feel like you could get some really sweet combos.
Okay, so we're gonna move on and we're gonna talk about the Gearbox. So Gearbox was sold for 1.3 billion. Now apparently there's some contingencies on that, like depending on sales and how the IP does.
Yeah,
So
this is an interesting one.
It's so it's what 36. I want to say it was no 336 million dollars up front, and then the rest of it is contingent on sales and productivity. In the next couple of years or whatever with their products. So they got a bunch up front, but potentially can make triple that down the road.
Right.
And Gearbox was not owned by some big entity or anything. Gearbox was technically an indie studio, and they are owned by they're employee owned with Randy Pitchford as the CEO.
But they were published via 2K for a while.
2K was their publisher. Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't own them though.
Interesting. The company that bought them is some like holdings company. Like it's not a company I've necessarily ever heard of.
It's a company that owns a few different developers, including THC Nordic, who does Horizon Zero Dawn.
No, it's true. I did hear about them specifically, but I'm saying like this company is not. It's not like an Activision or whatever. It's like a holdings firm that just keeps. Yeah, apparently it just keeps snapping up these developers, and
the Embracer Group, off the top of my head, I think is what they're called.
Embracer. No, something other, or maybe it is Embracer Group. Yeah, it's just like I've never heard of Embracer Group before this moment. So is it good? Is it bad? You know what I mean? Like maybe they don't want the spotlight on Embracer Group. They want the spotlight on these developer studios, which makes a lot of sense because some of the worst hated figures in gaming are those kind of like publisher companies. EA, Activision, right? Hated. Hated. Even Bethesda now after Fallout 76, right? Bethesda has a weird one. The publisher is called Bethesda, and then there's Bethesda Studios. The developers are also called Bethesda, but they're not the same thing. And Bethesda will publish games that aren't made by Bethesda sometimes, made by another. It's complicated. But so it's just kind of an interesting thing. Like that part that you said, TV, is really standing out to me. They're looking at $1 billion of this deal is contingent on if they perform well. And Borderlands 3, despite right now it be like you think Destiny's dead. Destiny is like quintuple the player base as Borderlands right now.
But Borderlands sold.
But Borderlands sold very well. But guess what was also made by Gearbox? Godfall. Godfall ain't doing so well. To put this in perspective, the Godfall like subreddit is more dead than the Anthem subreddit. The Anthem subreddit is actually kind of popping. Bro.
No,
like,
it is not. You're kidding me. Hold on.
I'm dead serious, dude. I'm subscribed to both, and so the Anthem subreddit will give like someone will post a picture or of like legendaries or whatever, get like 400 upvotes on, and Godfall like the most it gets is like 30. Am I not right? Am I not right?
Godfall has 64 people online on the Reddit. Anthem has 563.
Let's go!
It's like 10 times bigger.
Anthem's like that. It's that meme where they like resuscitate the guy and he comes.
Dude, I'm telling you, Anthem was never as bad as people said it was. Like legitimately, I feel like it was bad, but it was never that bad. And right now, like if you have like EA Play or something, it comes with that. So it's basically like free if you have EA Play, right? And it's like if you just do that and get it for free, and you're just playing a fun casual game where you're like flying around and you don't, if it doesn't have an end game, you don't care because it's a free game. Like it's actually like, yeah, it's still, but that's a whole nother thing. The fact of the matter is that like those sales things are like, I don't think Gearbox just shut down the servers for Battlebond 2. Gearbox has had some great successes and had some massive flops too.
Right.
So it's like that's like super
The thing
interesting
is,
that they would
their
have a
success-
performance-based thing.
Yeah, but their successes have been big. Like, what was it? 60 million copies of Borderlands 2 sold? I think it's somewhere around there, which is insane, by the way.
Mhm.
That's
Because it's
insane.
like, oh, it's one of the best looter shooters ever made. I feel like there's
Ever
like
made.
more people. I think there's like more people streaming Borderlands 2 than Borderlands 3 a while
Mhm.
ago. Just
Well,
because like everyone's going back to it because it's like a superior
even
game
some
in
of
a
the
lot of ways.
even some of the guys who had early access to Borderlands 3, some of the people who were able to make the earliest content on Borderlands 3
Yeah,
ever
the chosen ones
have
where-
lately uploaded Borderlands 2 stuff.
Yep, they're back to Borderlands 2 because, well, Borderlands 3, the problem is like there's no. Last time I played, there's just no there. You know, call Anthem no endgame. Borderlands 3 has no endgame. Like once you get the good stuff, you're done. There's no stuff to use the good stuff in. Like you have the takedowns, but they aren't the same as the raid bosses, right? Borderlands 2
Like the
raid bosses, that
Invincibles?
was the
Oh, let's go
Invincibles.
fight Hyperius. And
Yeah,
and
like
Comrades
that's
and-
what you were gearing up for. That's what you were
Mhm.
min-maxing for, right? Like in this, you have to like beat the takedowns to get the good gear, and it's like, and then you get the good gear, and you're like, wait a minute, I just beat the takedown to get this gear. What am I supposed to use this gear on?
Right.
Mhm.
With the raid
So-
bosses in Borderlands 2, it was the opposite. Like you were actively going, okay, so we're gonna be taking on Hyperius, so I got to go out there and really, I gotta
Gotta
find
get
myself some
Northfleet.
goods. Got to get Northfleet. I need to get good singularity grenades, and also, you know what I mean. So you had stuff that you had to grind for in order to get to that point. But Borderlands 3 is
And
just,
see-
it's just the opposite.
So, I mean, I'm gonna bring up Raid Shadow Legends quick.
Oh,
No, just listen.
not even paid
The
to do it.
interesting thing about like Raid Shadow Legends, because I've been playing it, is there's dungeons, and each boss has like pretty different mechanics, and in a lot of cases, you can't use the same champions on every single one.
You can't copy paste.
Like you
your,
can't
like,
copy paste because like they
your
just
dragon builds different than your ice golem
Right.
build, and
And
Yeah.
see, if you're playing a game like Borderlands, it would be really cool where it's like, all right, I need like an area of effect gun for this boss, or like I need a sniper because he's really far away, and you would need like certain loadouts to farm that boss. And once you farm that boss and you get a good loadout and you farm that boss, maybe you get really good gear to farm a different one. And so it's not
Mhm.
necessarily like I have now the best guns in the game, period. I just have better tools to fight different things. You know what I mean?
guy. Yeah,
Exactly. So it's like, okay, if I'm running a crit build on Flak, right? Maybe you make a boss that's like takes 0 additional crit damage, and then you have to try to make a different build with Flak and use some different stuff, and like maybe change it up. But I don't know. I feel like it's you spend all this time getting this gear and these anointed pieces, and then you just destroy everything, and it's like, all right, well, I'm done. And that's fine. Some games you just finish it, but it's a looter shooter, and like there's no scaling progression thing. I don't know. It's like a game where you would think by now they would evolve and do like really mechanic heavy stuff, raid type stuff. You know, where
Mhm.
you have to shut down the silos before they explode, and then do this, and like, you know,
Yeah,
anything,
They-
like anything.
they're not capable of
Because
making
they
a raid.
just jack up the HP on everything, and it's pretty boring.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So
Bullets
Yeah,
hungry.
it is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so it is like an interesting thing. It's like they might hopefully they'll be motivated to bring it. I hear though that, you know, from what we kind of have heard, the culture there, the devs there maybe aren't the happiest people, especially with Randy dipping his hands into their pocketbooks, right? Like,
yeah.
and now he's sold the company. Is he gonna make like a quick exit, like sell the company and bye, I'm stepping down as you're trying to investigate me for fraud?
That's
Fuck.
right.
You know what
I
I
don't
mean? Like, who knows, man?
And that's
But-
another thing. Like that's an interesting thing as a consumer. Everyone has to come up with their level of comfort when it comes to buying a product when you know something about how that product is made or who makes it. Some people make different decisions along those lines. Hey, if this company makes that product, I don't care what it is, I don't buy it because of what that person does or the ethics behind how it's harvested, all that stuff. For me, I struggled a little bit with Borderlands 3 right out of the gate because just ethically, I struggled with some of the Randy Pitchford stuff that was coming to light in the months leading up to Borderlands 3. And so I
Yeah.
had to make that decision. Like, I know there's a ton, and eventually I did make the decision, like, you know, however you choose is up to you. But I was like, you know what? I know there's a lot of like really good people in the gaming industry that worked hard on this game and they put blood, sweat, and tears. and I know a couple of people at Gearbox. I'll support their work. I'll buy the game. I'll play the game. But this is like, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta wonder
It's
where's this gonna
sketchy.
go from here. I don't know.
Now, speaking of companies that aren't scum, we're sponsored by Advanced GG. So if you guys are looking for an amazing energy drink to get you through your day, you got studying, you got homework, maybe just gaming, you want to be able to focus, go to advanced.gg and use code RGH because you can get 10% off right now. You've got some amazing flavors like the Mtashed Mango Splash, and you guys can enjoy that 10% off
Crossbow
using
is
our
better.
code. And if you use code RGH, that goes directly into my bank account, not theirs. I mean, it goes into it goes into our buy Advanced. Advanced GG. Now, let's
Great,
move on
great,
to the
Great read, dude.
Thank you.
I have no idea why we don't have more sponsorships with reads like that.
What do you mean? That was good.
Mwah. No, Chef's Kiss, amazing.
Okay, thank you. So now, RIP Stadia. Now, Stadia still exists.
this
You're
is
still going to
hilarious.
be able to play games, but they just shut down like their main,
Their game development,
proprietary,
their studio.
like their main game studio for Stadia.
The studio, for example, if you want to think back, that introduced that developed and launched the game called Crucible,
Was
which
that
was free
Stadia?
to play.
I thought that was Amazon.
Oh
I think it was
no!
Amazon.
I'm sorry. No, I got my wires crossed. You're right. Ignore me.
I'm right. Yeah,
But
like,
it's that
so-
guy. It's that one guy that was like a big idiot online, and we kind of roasted
That's
him.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
so this guy on Twitter, basically, I don't know if anyone watching remembers this, but he said that streamers and content creators should have to pay a fee in
To, like,
order to
stream
like
games.
make content and stream games. Now, anyone with even a few working brain cells would realize that would, if a company wanted to do that, like imagine Call of Duty did that. No one would, like, the amount of people making content in Call of Duty, especially like new people getting into it that don't have a lot of return, that would be a huge barrier to entry. And with a lot of these games, the reason Warzone pops off is because people love watching clips of people sniping people on Warzone, right?
Right.
And posting clips and streaming and stuff. Like, it's how Among Us blew up to the skies and above, right? So this guy says that he's in charge of the Stadia development team, and there's the best tweet of all time. Like, someone like, "Hey, how's Stadia going?" Like, tries to roast him, and he goes, "Oh, pretty better than Giant Bomb." And he tries to like come back at the guy. I think the guy worked at Giant Bomb, and now he's shut down, baby.
Now he doesn't have a
Jeez.
job.
Poorly aged tweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so obviously it's screw that guy. Clearly, absolute dingus you put in charge of your, dev people. But at the same time, it is kind of sad because Google tried to signal that they were really taking this gaming thing seriously, right? Google Stadia, it's a real thing. We have some good partnerships with some solid games, and we're investing in our own studio, like dev studio, so we're going to make our own games too. And then they already shut it down. And it's like, I know the Stadia numbers are not great, obviously, but it's like, this is Google. Google's got some cash on hand. They could eat some costs. And it's like, if they had put out a super fun, like we're talking Among Us level game in terms of like hype on Stadia, even if it wasn't Stadia exclusive, maybe it had some Stadia exclusive features and like streamers love it and everyone loves it and it pops off. That could have revitalized Stadia, because Stadia is like pretty cheap as a console, as a thing you buy. So it is kind of weird. Like, Google just gives up so fast.
If it doesn't,
Like,
turn a
these
profit
companies-
in 2 years, they're like,
You're
that's
done.
it.
Yeah, they're just like done. Yeah,
But, like,
crazy.
They just did their earnings call and like killed it, and the stock price shot up today. And so it's like,
Oh.
you guys are doing good overall. Like, diversify a little
Like,
bit. Don't just
you would
shut it down after a day. I don't know.
You'd think, even if forget the Stadia thing, you'd think Google owning their own gaming studio, hiring some cutting edge people, and putting out, like, they could totally make some solid games, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why. It is kind of crazy. It's like, oh, Google is losing. It's probably just some intern brought it up in like a conference call. They probably even forgot about Stadia as a thing. They're earning so much money. They probably like forgot about Stadia and they were like, oh, that's still going. Shut it down. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of a weird story.
All right, so let's move on to Nintendo Online. So apparently they're upgrading their servers For the first time in 18 years.
Do you
Oh my
remember
God.
when the Nintendo Wii came out?
Yeah.
Remember when the Wii came
Yeah.
out and that first Smash Brothers for the Wii came out and you could play online and it was terrible? That's the same NES, their same online system, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
That
like
was it, wasn't it?
18 years ago? 18 years ago, I was playing the N64, bro. Like 18 years ago, that's like the GameCube servers for Phantasy Star Online,
Yeah.
right? 18 years
So
ago is a
Yeah.
colossal amount of time. And like if you're trying to play the old Smash Bros, like I remember I had it on 3DS, like we're talking like janky animations, like unplayable. And the servers are just awful. They've been so bad, and they haven't updated them in 18 years. I'm
So,
wondering.
well, maybe it's good that they're finally updating them.
Well,
I
I know.
guess.
I'm wondering though. Like, will there be like a resurgence in people playing Smash online and things like that? Because it's like, oh well,
No,
now
maybe
because you
that's
can't-
why they shut down the port. Maybe that's why they shut that whole tournament down because they're trying to prep people to be like, okay, well, we can't use the ports anymore. Got to use they got a new system.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Do you know
it
what? That's
could
actually
be.
big brain.
But now they're going into this with so much ill will. Like they lost some of their biggest Smash content creators because Nintendo is absolutely living in the dark ages.
They don't
Like,
care.
So they finally roll this out. They might have less of a reception than they originally thought, especially since like you can finally play online, which is one of the biggest parts of making content, right?
Yeah.
But you can't make content for the game because they've claimed like every single version of their songs that play in their games, and like you have to like have a Nintendo account, and then they take some of your earnings and all this crazy stuff. So it's like, is it a little too late? Could they maybe benefit from being more generous?
I mean they need to turn that ship around. Like they're
Do
villains
they though?
right now.
Like I would love to see like what numbers are they looking at? Maybe they could care less. Maybe they're you know what I mean? Maybe good faith to them buys them nothing. You know? Maybe the bulk
Yeah.
of their player base just doesn't give a hoot about any of that stuff that we're over here griping about.
I
And they're
mean,
like, I don't care,
yeah.
let them gripe. Our player
Yeah.
base is mostly families. We got a lot of kids and teens, and we don't care.
The people playing Animal Crossing are not necessarily going to like go on Twitter and Reddit and complain about like that type of stuff. They just like they don't even watch content on it per se, other than like maybe little tutorials and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's an interesting one. Like
If nothing
It's
else,
like
like
what-
if you do like the game, if you want to play some Mario Party online, it'll be viable now, which is good.
well, you think you
Mario
hope.
Kart, yeah, I guess that's the things we
hope.
don't know about the system, but like I'm guessing they can get it to a decent spot after 18
Like
years.
welcome
and
to
the
like
money.
20 like welcome to the modern age, Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah, like oh my gosh.
They're gonna
man.
update to the old Xbox Live servers, like
Yeah,
from
exactly.
like 2004.
And that would be a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Things would be popping.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It's just it was so bad for so long too. Like I feel like they didn't foster a big online community. Like how many people are like, finally the servers are good? I don't know. Because
Yeah,
they
no,
had
right.
people making their own servers, doing their own tournaments, right? They
Yeah.
got shut down and everything, but like most tournaments for Smash and like the hype around it was in person. Like
Yeah,
those were the
yeah,
big
yeah,
events,
yeah.
going to like DreamHack and all these different things. Like I don't know if people are gonna all of a sudden jump on the Super Smash wagon just because you
Yeah.
can find a match. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like that's literally. I mean, has the time come and gone for that? Like, especially since like they haven't like. Well, I wonder if they're gonna time this with a new game. Like, if they time this with a new. I mean, they already have like a pop and smash, where they time this with a really new release. Maybe I don't know, man. It's an interesting one.
Add
Mhm.
Waluigi in the game when it drops, and then everyone's like, "Oh,
Yeah, oh,
Yeah. I feel like they don't prioritize this and publish information about it without a plan for it, you know. So I'd love to see where it
Mm.
goes.
right." That's fair. Now let's jump on with the Twitch thing to kind of end off the stream. It isn't a big one, but it poses a question. Here's
So,
you
do you
go.
want me to explain it? Because
Explain
I
it.
brought this story.
Go
I'll
for
quickly
it.
explain. I'll quickly explain and then go. Essentially, Twitch has been adding a bunch of stuff. Like someone, basically a kind of a developer, like a prominent member of the gaming community, made a big Twitter thread and was talking about like, look, this is actually pretty insane. Twitch is consistently lowering the user experience. And like, so they had ads randomly start playing, right? It's one thing when you get to set them yourself. It's another when they randomly start playing in like especially when you're live streaming, you finally kill that boss, or like the final boss. Imagine a final boss of like a Dark Souls no deaths run. And it's like, he's just about to die. The boss is going to swing, ad. The Boys season 2. And you're like, no, dude. Right? So that, then they made it so that they have like an intrusive pop-up if you're using an ad blocker. Like that and again, that's the same thing. People are trying to get away from the ads because they don't want their experience ruined. And Twitch is like, we're going to ruin everyone's experience. It doesn't matter who. And then only a few days ago, and this is the thing that kind of prompted the thread, is now if you're watching an embedded Twitch video, so if someone like links you a Twitch clip, or you're watching like an embedded thing on another website, you're trying to share Twitch content, it'll have an additional pop-up on your screen that's like, hey, don't watch this here, watch this on Twitch so we can make our money, right?
Yeah.
So you have to click like, okay, go away, or go to Twitch to reopen it. And again, that's like a thing where you're getting, yo, dude, check out this clip. You get a clip, and the first thing is you have an intrusive pop-up,
and
maybe
inconvenience. Yeah.
And you know you're probably gonna like hear the clip in the background, and you just have this progress. So it's like ruins the experience of you watching it. So it's just like Twitch is just again and again, all these things are adding up to make the experience of watching Twitch like the worst it's ever been.
And it makes you wonder, is like, how desperate are they for this ad revenue? Like, do they need to turn a profit here before they get shut down or something? Like, they are so desperate to monetize Twitch and capitalize on that monetization that they will absolutely neuter your ability to watch it if they're not making money off you. Because it's like,
yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, well, then I'll just go watch it on YouTube. I'll watch someone else on YouTube, or I'll watch the clip somewhere else, and you're not going to capitalize on it. Period. You're going to just lose people that are going to leech off your stuff. There are people that will pirate movies. There are people that will pirate music. There are people that will do it. And they're still somewhat valuable because they talk about it and they share it themselves and they hype people up. Oh, you got to watch this thing on Twitch. Even if you're not profiting off them, it's like the informal economy of the United States. There's people that, you know, they might be doing cash jobs under the table. They're doing all these different things. The government obviously wants to tax them, and maybe they can't. And that sucks, but they still help the economy in so many different ways. It's like 33% of the economy is informal cash jobs, under the table stuff. Well, you still have to let that stuff happen because it's still really, really important, because they go spend it here and they spend it there. Same thing with these Twitch viewers. They're going to share that post. They're going to talk to someone else. They're going to, maybe they sub to people to avoid getting the ads and all these things. Like,
buy
maybe
some bits,
right? They buy some bits down the road or something. But I don't know. They'll get your Amazon Prime. Maybe they get your Amazon Prime because you keep advertising to them about The Boys, and they're like, "Oh, do you know what? I'm gonna watch The Boys." Like, I'm sure you'll profit off them eventually.
Yeah, like the ads are one thing, but again, it's like, it's just like over and over again, and you can't play any music now, and it's just like, it's just Twitch is like taking hit after hit, and it's one of those things where, especially off the heels of the claims, copyright stuff, you'd think that they would back off a little bit about like adding more intrusive things.
Sure.
Because it just really does lower the viewer experience. Like,
you know, it's interesting. You go ahead. So finish your thought before I say.
Just like, you're just trying to watch it. Just imagine trying to watch something intense is happening on a live stream, like on a YouTube video. You much more understand it. You can rewind. You're watching an edited piece of content. You're watching Twitch to watch it live. If you're watching a tournament, bro, it's 1v1. You know, phase
every
versus
moment
optic,
counts, man.
Like 1-on-1, this will end the tournament, or like CS:GO, this will end the entire tournament. Who takes it down? And a pop-up comes up. We sense that you have ad block on, and it's like, bro, and then you finally goes, and then they have the winners, and you're like, no, I missed it.
Imagine you're entering like a freaking raffle. You know, for a trials carry with Grenadier Jaeger.
Yeah,
and then
there,
they're
bro?
like,
I'm gonna pick
you
someone
there?
else.
Where you at? So you're the winner. Hey, XX underscore big man
Oh my
27.
God.
Where you at?
And
Dude,
there's
if that happens like one time, like you're just gonna go watch on someone else. Like if you're watching especially like what I described, like a tournament, they're often multi-broadcasted on many different things. So you're just gonna go
You're
to YouTube
gone.
next time. You're
You're
not,
gone.
or wherever. You're not gonna watch it on
Right.
Twitch again. And it's like,
Yeah.
like you said, dude, it's like how desperate is Twitch for this money, dude? Amazon owns this company, and Amazon hasn't paid taxes one time ever in its existence. They got
Mhm.
so much money. Like what is the issue here?
but if you
So
want
I
to,
have.
oh,
Sorry, I've now streamed. I used to be on Twitch full time, and then recently, well, in the past year and a half or so, I've been on Facebook gaming. But actually, this past week, I did my first ever live stream on YouTube to my YouTube community. So I have now streamed on every single platform, and you would not believe the number of times this week, while streaming over on Facebook, you would not believe the number of times I've had people come in a chat and be like, "Hey, TV, are you going to do another YouTube stream?" I gotta say, man, that for like a viewing experience, that was the best. I've had that comment so many times where people are like, "Oh man, that was great being able to watch you over there on YouTube," because even Facebook does not everyone, but some partners do have mid-roll ads on your live streams on Facebook as well, which is unfortunate. It's built into my contract. I can't do anything about it. They're not very frequent, but they do happen from time to time. It's not as frequent as Twitch, but they do exist. So there's a number of people who are like, "Listen, man, the YouTube experience is the best because it's uninterrupted, and the whole interface is very familiar for people. People have been using YouTube for so long."
Yeah. And it's so searchable. Like, you don't even really search up. Like, you go to like a game, right? But on YouTube, you can search up an event. Like Destiny is happening. You can go on YouTube and search up like Destiny live event, right? When people are watching the Almighty explode or something, and you can like watch that. Whereas, like, I guess on Twitch, you can just go to Destiny, but you kind of got it's not very intuitive. You got to go to Destiny. You got to scroll down, figure out who's watching. Okay, I don't know. It's much more like the search engine is very like YouTube is really more of a search engine, but it just in video content. A lot of traffic gets driven through there by people
Mhm.
looking for certain types of content. So yeah, it's one of those things where like as they're making their platform worse, it seems like YouTube is really improving a lot of things. Like, didn't someone on Twitter say that they're going to eventually add the ability to share memberships on YouTube?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
hinted
that's
at
right.
it just the other day.
That's popping.
And like other features, like I toy with this once a week. I'm like, what if I just went to YouTube? What if I just streamed on YouTube? But your Twitch partnership is instantly dead in the water if you do that. The other thing too is like you don't have that diversity. I've been banned on multiple platforms, and I'll tell you what, when I get banned on YouTube, it's nice to go to Twitch. When I get banned on Twitch, I can go to YouTube, right? Like it is nice having that diversity of income, maybe a different audience. Like
Yeah.
it's tough putting all your eggs in one basket. If you're gonna
That's
put all
actually
your
one-
eggs in one basket, YouTube's probably the one because there's the
That's the-
algorithm. There's a lot there.
The
Yeah.
thing I dislike the most about Twitch streaming, while I do think that Twitch has a very excellent platform, and they've made a lot of snafus, but they're on top for a reason. And as far as live streaming goes, the biggest issue I have is the exclusivity. They are the only platform out there that says if you stream anywhere else, you're done. Your partnership is kaput, and there's no tolerance for it. They're the only people that do that. Like I said, I'm partnered with Facebook. I'm under contract with Facebook, but they're like, we do not care if you stream on Twitch, if you stream on YouTube, if you try to revive Mixer on your own, we could give two craps as long as you satisfy our conditions for your contract every month. Do whatever you need to do to grow your brand, because ultimately that's good for us. If you're over there, if you do a banger stream on YouTube and everyone's like, "Dude, we forgot how much I love watching, TV live," and you're like, "Listen, man, this is just a one-off thing. I don't do this very often. I typically stream over here on Facebook." I had people who watched the YouTube stream who were like, "Man, I miss being a part of your community," and came over to the Facebook stream. Like
Right.
they profit off that. They gain from that,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like Twitch, the second you start to experiment somewhere else, you're done. Like they have zero tolerance for that. It's us or it's a nobody. And I think the attitude just might bite. I understand why they do it because they're trying to retain. Because people are like, it's risk and reward. I don't want to risk losing everything I have for a year contract with somebody else that maybe it won't pay off. And then a year from now, I'm like, oh crap, I sacrificed all of this with Twitch for a year of good money and now I've got nothing. You know what I mean? I understand it, but I think it might bite them in the butt. I think eventually creators are going to be like, I think I'm done.
I got a new partner manager on Twitch, and I literally messaged her and I said, like, can we negotiate the exclusivity of my contract? And she's like, no. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I really want to go to YouTube, and I like have some opportunities there, and I'm like really considering it. So like, you can either consider negotiating with me, or there's the potential that I'm just gone. And she's like, I'll note that, and she's like, I hope we can keep you. And it's like, then just change that one little line in the contract. I don't want to stream there all the time, but when a new character for Genshin drops, if I could do a live stream on YouTube, perfect.
That's great for
you. One stream a month? Like, it's not going to kill the Twitch. It's not going to ruin things. I want one stream a month.
Twitch is killing Twitch. The only people killing Twitch is Twitch. They need to calm down.
Exactly. Bro. It's your interns. Actually, no, it's your higher ups that are like, add the sombreros to those emotes, boys.
Add that sombrero, baby.
We gotta have them.
Like that's Twitch. That's who you need to be worried about. The people who made that decision, not the people co-streaming on like YouTube. Like, calm down.
Yep. But that's pretty much it for the episode today. We covered all the main topics. That was 1 hour. We're not done yet, though. We're not done just yet.
Don't go anywhere. We're not done.
Last week, okay, I will say this as a predecessor. So a lot of the comments on our last episode were that the after show was the best part of the episode last.
Right.
Because we just roasted each
other. So hold on. No. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off. We're not going in members only. We're not going in members only today. What do you think? Wait, now I'm wondering what you were going to say.
I was just going to say, like, don't leave, because our numbers always go down because people think we're ending the podcast. I was like, don't leave. This is the best part of the podcast, which is like the free talk, trash talk part.
So I want to try this today. We're not going to go in members only mode because a couple times no one's asking any questions. They're just vibing because we're having a good time. So today, let's just open the floodgates. If you guys want to just ask some questions, you want to hang out, you got some stuff, we'll try to answer them. But you don't have to become a member to do it like normal. Normally, we would go in members only mode, but today, let's just open the floodgates. Let's see, what the vibe is and stuff.
If you want to support the channel and you want to become a member, we got new emotes literally being worked on right now, right? TV?
Yeah.
Literally, we got new emotes coming.
We gave her a lot of work.
We got tons of new emotes coming. And it's a great way to support the channel. We usually just reinvest it in stuff like emotes and our editor and stuff like that.
What it means moving.
Right. So we actually got Dark Sage was a new member today. Derek Floyd was a new member. Leahy Giblets and Darth Tyrannus. Thank you guys so much for being the new members on the podcast. We appreciate you. But yeah, if you guys have any questions,
I see we're gonna Firebomber.
Hit it.
Firebomber asked. This is usually the very first question. What's TV drinking? Hey,
what is he drinking?
Full-time killer called it. He recognized the bottle. This is the pièce de résistance. This is when I feel like splurging. I feel like spoiling myself. This is the Whistle Pig 15 year. That's what I'm sipping on tonight. That's how much I value my time with y'all. That this is the time I break out the 15.
Now, does that one also taste like gross alcohol that burns your throat?
Oh, okay. You just don't know alcohol.
This coming from the guy who doesn't trim his mustache, and half of the time his own beard is in his mouth, and he's like, "That must taste bad." Come on, bro.
Well, I trimmed it a day ago. What do you mean?
Okay, so
honest question, what does it taste like? What are the notes? Is it smoky? Is it vanilla?
So this is an aged, like a 15-year aged rye whiskey. Rye is not as sweet as a typical bourbon because it's not used.
Oh, bourbon's sweet. Okay, all right.
Yes, bourbons are sweeter because the corn, right? Now with this, it's made purely from rye. Well, so it's got to be at least 70% to be called a rye whiskey. It's gonna be 70% rye malts. So it's a spicy but 15-year age means it's a little bit more subtle. So it doesn't bite as hard, but it is a little spicy. It's got some punch to it.
So I have a couple questions here that I wanted to get to. Someone said to start like a beginner stream, how much would it cost? How much did you guys spend when you first started?
Us?
Yeah, my
Investment cost?
I had the white PlayStation with Destiny. I bought like the $70 camera, and I had a $40 blue snowball. So like that was
much.
it.
Like here's a straight fact. No one wants to say this because it's a little bit mean, but I think all you guys will agree with me. If you aren't willing to do your own research and figure out what's a good mic, what's a good computer, what are you going to need, what are the processes of getting started, then content creation isn't for you. Like if you can't even do the work, the groundwork to figure all that stuff out,
You'll just never
like,
make it.
You'll just never, like a lot of people ask me like, oh, what mic do you use? What editing software do you use? And it's like, what editing software you use doesn't matter. There's a million good mics. There's a lot of good editing software. It's about what you're comfortable with. Like a lot of people think, oh, if I just copy what Rick Kackis has, then I'll be like, I'll be set. And it's like, that's not necessarily the way to go. Like you got to be, get ready for 5 years of grinding and not making anything until you finally stumble across the right game, potentially, right?
This was not my experience though. Like I appreciate that. I understand that's the majority. That wasn't my experience. I literally was playing on a PS4 and just using the share button and recording clips to a thumb drive. And then I worked at a church at the time, and on my lunch breaks, I'd plug that thumb drive in, and I'd pull up the church's, PC, their Mac they had at the time on iMovie. I had zero investment cost, and I'd import the clips, I'd edit them, and then I'd post stuff on the forums all the time. And then every now and then I would slip in something about a video I made. And then it started to get a lot of traction. My first live stream was me sitting on the ottoman in my living room on a 32-inch TV with my PlayStation controller.
Gaming.
And the only thing I had was that PlayStation, the PS4
Camera.
Yeah, I know.
camera. The camera that you just like put on the top of your TV.
Super crappy one. Yeah.
That was it. That was my investment cost for live streaming. And I was literally streaming at the time. I was doing trials carries to 2,000, sometimes 3,000 viewers on Twitch.
The PlayStation,
And I had no investment
the PlayStation has like an algorithm or like a thing where like if you're streaming from a PlayStation, there's ways like it recommends those. So like that's how Crafty blew up too. He said like he streamed from the PlayStation, and like I remember when I streamed from the PlayStation, like people who were on the PlayStation at the time, they just find those streams
on their dashboards.
And
Crafty was making $250,000 streaming from his PlayStation on that same camera.
Yep,
doing trials.
Yeah,
and
the thing is though,
that's why
is
you just gotta get started. Though.
Exactly, you
just gotta
get
started.
Yeah, well, and like I said, my experience may not have been your experience. My community, I think it was just because of the way that I approached content creation. I've always tried to be like a teacher, to be helpful, to be really laid back, and I attracted the right kind of people because they were very generous. I will say this. I wouldn't be in content creation if it wasn't for the generosity of my early supporters who literally paid for a cutting edge PC to stream from. They paid that. I had mods that shipped me all kind of microphones, monitors, everything, all of that stuff that once my stream got to look really refined, my investment cost was still $0. It's all because I had a just incredibly supportive community right off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I did it all myself. Years and years of grinding until I made it big, baby.
Someone else asked, how did you guys meet?
Just try being nice.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think of that. That's a good one.
How did we meet? Mike and I met because we were both in
a dark alley, and then a motel room. I'm just kidding.
Kackis and I met because I don't even know if you remember this, dude, but you DM'd me back in D1 on Twitter about playing PvP sometime, right? I don't even think you remember this, but I was on one night just playing, trying to get some clips, and I shot you a party invite, and you joined the party, and you said, "Hey, I'm already in a party. Why don't you come over here?" And so I did, and you were actively raiding with a group of guys at the time, and you're like, "I'm raiding, but we've love to just get to know you a little bit. Why don't you hop in the chat?" And I still remember I was actually on Thieves Den. I don't know if you remember Thieves Den. It's a Crucible map in D1. playing, shooting people, just trying to get clips for YouTube, just chatting with you and the guys you're playing with. And that was my first experience ever talking to you.
I think something you're forgetting though. I reached out to you on Twitter because, from what I remember, some dude was such a psycho. They didn't like me. This guy was such a Redditor that he didn't like me so much for just putting out free content that he made a fake KackisHD account and like used my logo, tried to copy me, and then went to you and a bunch of other content creators and was just super mean, like
Talking crap,
flaming your kids and stuff, basically to try to look like it was me saying these things. So I went into the comments and was like, "This is not me."
Oh, sure it is. Okay.
This is some absolute psychopath. And then I think I like DM'd you and say, "Hey, I'd love to play," because I think you said like, "Don't worry, like I know it's not you." Like I had looked at the follower account. This guy's weird. And then I think I DM'd you from that because I think I like followed you at that point and said like, "Hey, sorry about that. Hopefully we can play PvP one time." So yeah, that was the precursor to that.
I have a question, Kackis. Did you like me when you first met me?
When did I first meet you? I don't even remember.
At one of the Bungie events, like one of the capture.
The first Bungie thing I went to was Destiny 2. Bungie is not
same.
They still don't follow me on Twitter. I'm like one of the biggest Destiny content creators, period.
They've followed me for 5 years.
They do not follow me on Twitter. I don't know who had Bungie, who I pissed off there, but I mean, I was maybe was a little. I don't know. I was definitely critical of the game when it first came out. I
feel like you're pretty friendly though now. Like I feel like you're one of the advocates.
You've been out to summits. You've been to some small.
I'm invited to stuff now.
Like some more basically like and stuff too,
yeah. But anyways, I that was Destiny 2 was the first Destiny event I went to, and I might have met you there, Tash. But
yeah, I just feel like I was like, I don't know, you kind of seemed like a dick the first time I met you. And I was like, I don't know if I like this guy. I was like, but like now I know like you kind of like jab, but like you jabbed a few too many times early on. I was like, all right, screw this guy.
Screw you, man.
That might have literally been because I never got invited anywhere. So I show up and then like everyone's ribbing each other and I like was like everyone's making fun. So I threw in like a couple jokes at your expense, and I maybe just did a couple too many. And you're like, I don't even know this guy. This guy's nasty.
All right, now he's out of the group. No, it's pretty funny. But
White Bishop asked, "What do you guys?" I'm sorry, if you had more to go on.
Oh, I had nothing to say. Cut me off again, Ryan. You've been doing that all night.
Okay, good.
Who's cutting people off now? Not
I
this
just didn't
guy.
want people. You opened the floor for questions. I didn't want people to feel neglected.
I guess.
I got you.
I guess. I care about you guys.
Rick,
I'll let you guys know I'm the only one that actively reads all of our YouTube comments every week on our upload.
Yes, these are A40s. Someone asked.
What do we think about Crimson Doubles being canceled? It's a bummer for me because I think Doubles is my favorite playlist in all of Destiny. And Crimson Doubles isn't the best version of Doubles, but it's still Doubles, and I still really like it. Actually, the guy that I stream with, 2 days a week, Pureblade, is a guy that I met in the Destiny 2 Doubles playlist, playing against him multiple times. We ended up shooting messages back and forth a couple of times. We linked up, and now we stream together every week.
Really?
I love Doubles. So I'm a bummer. I'm bummed. I
think though that I agree with you that like they're like we're vaulting doubles. It's like how do you need to vault a 2v2? Like it's just 2v2. What do you?
How is that better than breakthrough?
You're gonna vault. It's just such a weird thing. Where we're gonna vault 2v2. It's like you don't have to. It's not a planet that the game can't handle. It's literally just you limit the player numbers to 4 and you have 2 teams like Bungie. This is like what you talk. So, but I do think that Crimson Doubles was kind of lame.
Well, it devolved into like skip grenade spam off the wall like cheese. Yeah. So now amplify that with stasis. You run away, and then you're like, all right, they're coming. Double freeze, shattered at like the counterplay is just awful. And
I think
it probably would suck.
Importantly though, I think the thing is like usually we kind of have it a mid-season event, and so it doesn't matter. It's something fresh. There's like a new weapon, but because they had to delay it so far, like this was supposed to come out in December, right? Technically, the first season comes out in December, so they delayed it all the way to February, and so we would literally have Crimson Days launching like next week. Like it's almost Valentine's Day, right? So it's like the season just started. They're unveiling all this stuff, and then they've got to have a random Valentine's Day event that's usually kind of underwhelming, mostly cosmetic. Like they're fine for spicing up a season in the middle of the season, but I think it's just because they had to delay the season. It just would be so awkward to have it like right off the jump of season 13, right?
But I'm wondering if they delay Crimson Days and everything's pushed back a month, what else is going to get canceled? What else is going to get canceled? I don't know.
I don't think it's like canceled. I think they just said like, look, we're just going to reinvest. It's like we can't have this event starting so soon after the start of the season. Like,
yeah, but wouldn't that exact same problem for another mid-season event? Like I don't know. Well, I'm just saying, like maybe like the Dawning or like something like that. Like maybe they got to
the Dawning is Christmas. That just happened.
Or
and then
Solstice and Heroes. Like I don't know. Maybe they got to push something else.
Yeah, they might. Like I said this a while ago. Like their timing is going to be all weird this year.
Yeah,
because you have that massive delay. Some random chick that I've never heard of, never wanted here, said, will you just kidding. Will you have the RGH wives on the podcast?
I would do that.
I can tell you, we
never
would get demonetized within 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I just don't want to get roasted. All of us getting roasted for them being so good looking compared to us. Like it just, I don't want to play that game. I know it in my heart of hearts. I don't need to be told it by everyone in chat. Oh, you're punching above your. Shut up. Shut up. I'm friendly. She loves me.
Because it's true doesn't mean you need to say it. Jeez.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could say lots of stuff about Kackis.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Funny. We mute the mic gag. Original. Just as original as all of his content.
Come on, bro.
Oh, what?
I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be funny.
I wasn't muted. Oh, what a mistake.
Oh. Okay.
No, but yeah, no. Yeah, that'll never. And also our wives would just immediately be like, "Do you want to know what Rick does? That's annoying." I'm like, no. My wife has like limited Twitter time and basically ruins my career like every day. And it's like, hey, stop.
My wife, it's like, I am not an emotional. I've never been emotional. I'm always just like, even when I'm sad, I look like this. If I'm really excited, I look like this. Like I don't have very manic responses to anything. But my wife loves to tell this story about, let me tell you about the one time I saw Ryan cry. Oh,
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I just met you. I'm pretty sure I've heard this story the first time I met her.
The one time in our 12 years of being together.
Yeah.
You're
so to answer your question, random lady, no, you're not coming on the podcast.
Do you guys think that Destiny 2 is better than Destiny 1? Or it was asked differently. Do you think Destiny 1 is better than Destiny 2 is right
Honestly, no. There's more stuff to do in Destiny 2. Yeah.
Obviously, like nostalgia-wise, like I probably had more fun in Destiny 1.
The PvP arguably was better in Destiny 1.
I would say this. Destiny 1 at the time, like in that time period, was a better game than Destiny 2 right now, maybe in this time period. But if you put them both side by side right now today, D2 is a lot better.
Yeah, in a lot of different ways. But I think that it's like hard because we got the like the rose colored glasses on a lot of things. Like a lot of the stuff in Taken King like definitely was good, but a lot of the systems are stuff we have now, or have been improved on now. And there's still like a lot of major problems, but I don't know. I wish I felt that magic again, but I don't think it will. Part of that is like also like the content creation. Like the first year, I was just doing Devil's Lair or whatever because I wanted to. I was just playing to play. I was jumping on the game trying to get a new shadow price like just because I wanted to. And then everything changed around House of Wolves, I think, is when I like really took content creation seriously. And so, you know, that changed everything, as they say.
Yeah. Did you guys see the what was the number? Spider-Man Miles Morales sold so many copies. Like it broke some records. Crushed it. For 2020 copies sold. I forget what the number was. Someone mentioned it in chat. Sorry, that's why I thought of it. Have you guys played that yet?
I haven't. I don't have the new PlayStation either.
I know it's hard to play stuff when you're constantly playing for content. That's sort of one of the downfalls of a lot of people. Like like, man, I wish I could be a YouTuber or streamer because I get to play games all the time. It's like, no,
Yeah, no, you
it doesn't really work like that.
No. You have to play games. You
wish,
can't
dude.
have fun with games. You have to play them specifically for content. If you're having fun, you feel like you're wasting your time, then you're just editing for hours and hours and hours.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You're having fun. You're waiting.
Someone did say, like, okay, is there another game that can scratch that Destiny itch? Well, we've talked about this before, but we hope it's going to be Outriders.
I'm excited to play it.
Free demo February 25th, right? Like, and your progress saves to the full game. So that's like the big thing.
This is no hashtag ad. Like,
we just legitimately think the game is cool.
If this game looks cool, you can play it for free. And if you like it, when you play that beta for free, if you're like, hey, I can get into this, then when you buy the game, if you choose to buy the game, all your progress carries over. You can pick up right where you left off and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose. Check it out.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I want something new, and I think the biggest thing for me is the end game does look interesting. Who knows if they actually execute, but it is like a Diablo Greater Rift system type thing where like it gets harder and harder, and depending how fast you beat it, you get better rewards. So it's like, well, I want to optimize my build so I can beat it in 15 minutes instead of, like maybe the cutoff is at like 15 minutes, you get double chests. There's like different kind of barriers to entry, right? There's different tiers. So it's like, well, I want to farm so I can do it in 5 minutes and get 2 chests with the guaranteed legendary. Like I feel like there's going to be that kind of chase and almost maybe not leaderboards, but like you get that personal number where it's like, I'm getting faster. I'm getting faster.
This guy in the chat's like, Outriders is going to be garbage, all capitals. The fundamental gameplay looks like lame Anthem mixed with Division. Oh, did you play it? Did you play the game? Because I did, baby, and it doesn't play anything like the Division. I don't think. Like, I don't know. When we played it, it was fun. It functioned. The abilities were legitimately cool and impacting, like freezing time, and then the enemies would run in your time bubble and like slow down, and you'd like pop them off, and you to do so much damage to them and stuff. So the thing is like, dude, I don't understand why people say stuff about. It's like you've spent $0 on this game. They're coming out with a free demo. Like they're doing this. The thing is like Outriders, it annoys me when people say that because Outriders has been so transparent. Like they had a 13-minute long video explaining exactly what they're doing for the end game. Like who does that? Bungie doesn't even do that, right? Bungie's like, oh, maybe in a year we're listening. Like
it's like a 2-second part of a trailer. Like
exactly. Yeah, do right by. Like Outriders was like, this is our end game plan. So I feel like the transparency and the communication should be rewarded. And it's one of those things where they have this free demo. You can go in. No one's saying you have to buy the game. See if you like it. If you like it, good. Your progress carries over. If you don't, then you can say all the crap you want. You can say, then you can say all the crap you want. But again, it's a game that should definitely be given a chance, especially since they're doing the whole demo thing.
And a couple of people in chat have even said, like, hey, man, if there's no PvP, I'm out. And it's like, I understand that, but I'm a gamer. Like, I'm not just a PvP gamer. I'm a gamer. And so if PvP is good, I'm there. If PvE is good, I'm there. Some of my favorite games in the history of gaming have 0 PvP experiences at all.
Yo,
and so give it a chance. You're not going to lose anything by giving it a chance with a free demo. Give it a chance. And if you like it, great. If you don't,
one of the things is like, oh, it's just like it's going to be like campy third-person shooter. Like I don't like that. Do you know in chat? I wanted to see like some yes and no's. Do you know how you heal in Outriders? Do you know the mechanic? Because it isn't sitting behind cover throwing down heals like in the Division. It's not sitting there waiting for your health to recover. You heal by doing damage. You literally
and getting kills.
Exactly, like, getting kills and doing damage. Like everyone has built-in life leech or like damage leech. And so if you're going in and you're setting everyone on fire, you heal. And like that is the core way to heal. So you can be hyper aggressive. You can build almost glass cannon and you run in and you smash everything to heal. You can face tank stuff if you have a good enough build. That's why it's going to be interesting because it isn't just sitting behind cover and picking stuff off. You can run and gun. You can push in and spam abilities. And like if you've got good enough gear where you're getting resets on kills, then it can really change. So that's the thing that I think is going to catch people off guard is like, oh damn, you can really run gun and be aggro in this game, and it isn't all about hiding. So
Dude, some of the most fun I had when I played is I got like a really good random like purple full auto like shotgun. I just run up and just like absolutely crank people. It did so much damage, and then like I had it where it did extra damage to like frozen or like I think it was frozen guys or guys or on fire guys or something. And then I had like a fire ability or a frozen ability. I think it was frozen. It did extra damage to frozen guys, and I could make guys frozen. So I'd like make everyone frozen, going pop, 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 pop. It was like it was legitimately fun. And again, it's like I feel like the game's kind of ugly. I hate to say it. It's very like post-apoc. It is the opposite of Destiny aesthetic. Destiny is very like everything's gorgeous and I got the skyboxes. This game is like gritty and a post-apocalyptic, and things look ugly like on purpose. Like it looks like there's like veins coming out and stuff like that. Like it looks very grungy, but that is like the aesthetic of this game. It's the people who made Bulletstorm, and it's the same aesthetic. So I feel like people take 2 seconds and look at the game and they're like, that's ugly, this game's gonna suck, and then don't even try it or don't even give it a chance.
Well, and another thing I will say is that I would say follow their Twitter account, because they have posted in the past week alone a ton of legendary
armor sets, entire armor sets. Like,
and even if you think that aesthetic of the game looks bad, and you're like, oh, it looks bad. If you look at some of those legendary pieces, you're like, I was like, okay, hold up now, dang, that looks really cool. Like that's pretty cool. So give it a shot. We can move on. Someone in chat, Alessa, was asking if, specifically to me and Tash, are we still in touch with KJ Hobie?
I hate that guy. I hate that guy.
I don't know about Mike, but I have an ongoing text message thread with him, and I talk to him every week.
Yeah,
KJ Hobie's a really down to earth guy. Very, very nice.
He's probably one of the nicest guys I know. Like super good dude, and like he'll call me out on shit. He'll like hype me up for shit. Like he's just like super positive. Love him. He still streams. He does a lot of Mario Maker and stuff right now. He's doing Pokemon Nuzlocke. He just, I think he just doesn't love Destiny, and he's doing his own thing.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, I just
No,
hope
he's
he
just
does
playing what brings him happiness. If you ever want to know what's going on with X person, insert name, including KJ Hobie, I would say follow him on Twitter, follow him on Twitch, wherever they make content.
Yep.
And basically all the information you need to know is right there. I mean, Hovie's still active on Twitter. He's engaging in conversations, even some conversations about Destiny. He's talking about the games he loves to play. He's tweeting out whenever he's going live. If you're following him on Twitch, you can still be a part of his community. And his community is they're a tight-knit group of really open, friendly people. So feel free to hop on over there and say hey sometime, Alessa.
Mm-hmm. A couple more questions here, because we are getting a little long on the episode. Any other ones that stood out that you want to, you guys want to hit?
Yeah, there's a couple of decent ones I saw. When's God of War 5 coming out? Isn't it like fall this year? Am I wrong about that? The new God of War?
I don't know if they've fully said. Have they said?
Oh, it's kind of like it's coming. It's like Diablo 2. We're making it.
And Diablo 4.
Yeah, Diablo 4. Dude,
Diablo 2, we're making it.
Yeah, we're making it.
Yeah.
Look.
Next Elder Scrolls.
What?
9 years from
now. Is
now.
the Outriders account in here? Or is that a dummy? They said we think the game will be cool too.
Is it? They heard through the grapevine we were hyping them, and
they heard
like,
weird. They heard weird.
I just replied.
Like,
I just replied and said, "Sponsor us." Like, if we're gonna shill your game this hard, we should be getting paid for it. For God's sakes.
Truly, reach out.
Next episode
you
of
know where to talk. You know where to reach us. But yeah, no. That's really the thing is like I always love those looter shooters. Outriders is that next, RPG looter game on the horizon. And like we said, I'm hyped as heck for Diablo 4. When is that coming? No one knows. Like, I don't think it's this year. It will it'll be 2022 at like the earliest.
Yeah.
Are we playing that one together, boys?
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
If we're still friends, then
what,
you
Diablo?
might ditch me by then.
Diablo.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm down. I'm gonna be either a barbarian or like a demon hunter kind of thing.
All the time. Dude.
I like being spin to win, whirlwind barb.
I'm critical mass build for the mage in 3 was just so fun.
Someone asked us a funny question there, like, when is the hype video for the Vex Mythoclast coming out? I've done one video on the Vex Mythoclast. or with the Vex Mythic class in the thumbnail, which is 3,000 less than everyone else has done, but it was for just going over all the vaulted glass gear. I want to mention that question because it's kind of a funny thing. You two played Destiny 1, you used the Vex Mythic class aside from when it first came out and was literally broken for like the first week. It was never actually like that good.
Oh,
like
no.
It was not bad, but like
Everyone loves that gun.
Everyone has these like this fascination and love of the Vex Mythic class, even though like it was not used in PvP, it was not used in PvE. It was like okay, it was decent. It wasn't like terrible, but it was not like the Galahorn was cracked out of its mind. I think it was just because it looked so cool and so different, and it was like very hard to get.
And I think because it was like there was a guaranteed way to get it, and it was the raid. Like I think that's part of it. Is like if you want it, you have a chance of getting it. So it was like a little bit more obtainable than every other exotic, other than like a Zur exotic. Even though it was hard to get, it was like if I could beat that raid, like I could get the Mythic class.
You had to beat it on hard mode. Remember, there's hard modes of raids,
and like it was only
Atheon?
broken for like
a
3 days, maybe like 4 days. I feel like, and it was done. And I got it on the first day, and I remember posting a video, and I was like, "Holy, this thing is broken! Like absolutely broken." I don't know if it's still on YouTube anywhere, but I remember like I started pulling the trigger because I was using like Shadow Price or Grim Citizen or whatever. And then I use this thing, and it's like, oh, this is an auto rifle too. And you just blew people up in 0.2 seconds, and it was like, oh,
gosh.
This is
this is right.
This is a little different.
Glad it's good to see you here, man. Thanks for stopping by and supporting the stream.
Even though he's hitting up Outriders asking for sponsorships in our stream.
Using our chat as a means of
this guy. Come on, Glad.
No, but this was a fantastic episode. Like absolutely insane support from you guys today. We had like 1,100 viewers pretty much the whole time. How did you guys like the no members? I thought it was kind of nice. I mean, I like going in members. It's a little bit more intimate. But our members, they grab their credit card, they become a member, and then they go, all right, and they just don't type anymore. We need the questions,
it's because they egg us on. This is what
they
we do.
just egg us on the
our members are so bad. We have one question for the members. They're like, what's your favorite like movie? And then we start talking, and then the members don't ask any more questions. They're just like, yeah, how bad was that movie? They're like, what about Game of Thrones season 8? And they just like keep like egging us on, and then it just gets so off topic.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
That's true. They just try to like pin us against each other. Like, man, isn't that crazy that Mtashed is such a baby?
They're like Kackis, what do you think about Mtashed like saying this about you? It's like, oh, dude.
Yeah, like, whoa, don't leak that info.
And exactly. Anyways,
thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
really good episode.
Next Wednesday, every Wednesday,
9
p.m. Eastern. We're here.
Right.
We're here on the channel.
Exactly.
No matter what.
There'll be more gaming news, more gaming stuff.
And next week will be like the second, like right after the launch of the next season. Like it'll launch on Tuesday. We're going live on the Wednesday. Yeah.
Exactly. So
it might not be as long. I might make you guys end a little early to make some content.
Oh, that's all good. We'll just do it. We'll do like a 59-minute special.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, follow the channel, hit the sub notification or the bell notification. Thanks again. Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We are the RGH podcast. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD.
We appreciate you guys. I'm True Vanguard.
And we'll see you soon.